This had such potential. Predator versus Wolverine issue 1. I'm not going to lie, I was actually chomping at the bit to read this book. And like I tell everyone, I love to be pleasantly surprised when I'm wrong. Like when I think something's going to be bad and it actually ends up being good, and it just makes me go, wow! This was not one of them. Because this book takes place in 2 time periods. It takes place in modern day Canada in the early 19th century. Hold on. I can't remember for the life of me now. 19th century something or other. Alaska territory. The book actually starts out, it opens up relatively cool. He goes, they say that I'm the best there is. But I sure as don't feel that way. If this was Dark Horse, they wouldn't have done that. I'm just saying. Not now. Not when I'm the hunted. And gorgeous artwork right there. Wolverine just getting completely chomped to bits. Looks great. Look at that. That's how Logan should look. Now that I'm the prey. And we see the Predator's point of view, seeing Wolverine's heat signature. Awesome. Awesome. And then, of course, his shoulder cannon. Rock and splinters. Wood shrapnel on my skin. Deep cuts. Plasma burns. I'm leaking bag of blood. And then we get one little glimpse of the Predator. And what I like here is when he becomes visible. I like that it actually does the shink for his claws as well. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about who made this. And as you can see, it's an ass load of people. So I'm not going to go through that list, so just feel free to pause and check out all the artists working on the book. Lots and lots of people. Now, moving on. Then the rest of the book primarily takes place in Alaska territory circa the 1900s. Now, to kind of set this in continuity, this would be taken around the time of Origin 2, because the original Origin by Joe Quesada ended kind of on the tail end when Wolverine sort of became a man, was working in the Canadian... Was it the Canadian? Maybe the Canadian. I don't know. But anyway, he became a young man, got to know his roots, and sort of took off on his own, leaving Rose, and then I don't remember if the other guy was supposed to be his brother or whoever it was, but he's living alone now. He goes, killing was part of what I was good at. This northern territory was a lawless frontier. You were on your own. That suited me fine. I never worried too much about the sub-zero winds or avalanches. The pissed off moose, it's charging grizzlies, it's people who concern me. That's why I use this cave as my safe. This was the edge of the map, and that's where folks go to escape trouble and make more. They always wanted something. Money, land, sex, power, and they'd kill to get it. I'm not digging the way they did this Predator. For me, whenever I think of the Predator from any of the movies, he's always very ripped, even the Dark Horse comics. But here, it looks more like a trace job. You get the form, but you don't get like ripped, nasty, ugly Predator. The pages are okay, especially when this Predator sees that in this area there's a frozen one. Because if you remember, what was it? The very first Alien vs. Predator. Well, the follow-up. After Broken Tusk dies, given Datuti the marking, she takes up residence and puts the Queen Alien's head on the barn. But anyway, what I'm getting at is more Predators came to that planet to kind of, while the younglings are training, the leader, Yautja, wants to find out what happened to Broken Tusk. So in a sense, this kind of makes sense in terms of continuity. But just, right when things are starting to get interesting, we get more into backstory, which puts Logan in the path of this guy who says his kids are kidnapped and is wanting to hire James, like that's his real name, to do the job. And we come to see how vicious and violent Wolverine is with just his fists. He even says here that back in the day he was reluctant to use his claws because he didn't want to draw attention to himself. And while that's happening, the Predator's again here hunting. And just, I don't know, it wasn't interesting enough for me. We're just getting different pictures of the Predator hunting different things. Then all of a sudden he's on a whale. He's fighting a bobcat or whatever that's supposed to be. He's riding a whale. It doesn't excite me. And we're already midway through the book before we finally start seeing any real interaction between Wolverine and the Predator. And we come to find out that the guy that Logan was hired from, he's not what he appears to be. I don't want to give it away. But even here, look at the scale of the Predator. He looks like a young dude cosplaying. He just doesn't have the muscle mass. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a training Predator, but he looks wimpy. I mean, the artwork's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but when you plan it against like all the work that we've seen from Dark Horse over the years, this is just not it. And even here, look at what they're trying to do here where Logan goes to attack. That should have been a more dynamic panel. I'm going to give them an A for effort for trying, especially jumping when Wolverine is attacking. We see the Predator's point of view, and he's trying to recreate what Logan's saying. They're killers. They're monsters. Because that's how the Predator always, would try to throw his voice to try to attract prey. Now here, for me, this is probably the best panel of the book because we finally see what the Predator looks like. And yeah, some of the artwork here towards the end, the battle scenes were cool. But I mean, look at this. We're already halfway through the book before any real interesting fights between the Predator and Wolverine happen. And we come to see they're both hunters. They're both killers. Yeah, we kind of glean that. We see the resemblance of what you're trying to do. Can we get on with the ass kicking? And then, of course, they have to go throwback to the first Predator film. Come and get me, you ugly... because it's Marvel instead of Dark Horse. Though I will say, even though the artwork's not incredible compared to just traditional sketched art, this bear hugging, literally, the Predator is freaking awesome. But this is kind of where Logan realizes that he's bitten off more than he can chew. And then it's to be continued, and then there's another story. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't even get this far. I stopped caring. So yeah, this book, I forgot, takes place in 3 timelines. Modern, way back when, and then Wolverine was with Team X or Weapon X, whatever it is. It's cool to see Maverick back, but it makes you wonder how much of what's the word I'm looking for, appearance he's going to make when they get into all of this. I just wasn't that excited. I just felt that the tone in and of itself was just all over the place. And it's nowhere near enough to make me want to read the next issue, especially when this one by itself was $8 freaking. I'm happy it's in my collection because I'm a longtime fan of the X-Men, a longtime fan of the Predator, longtime fan of the Xenomorph, but I feel like if this would have been done in the hands of Dark Horse, this would have probably been a timeless book. Just how like when Dark Horse did the verses with the Green Lantern, Superman, Batman, and I even think Batman went up against the Predator as well. And I think didn't one of them go up against the Punisher too or something like that? I can't remember. It's been too many years. But this, I don't know. I wanted to be excited. So I guess I'm just sort of numb after being spoiled on so many years of great stories. Like I'm sitting there talking about the first Alien versus Predator comic, like, oh yeah, that was awesome, and then it's just kind of like, oh, we're here. And now we're here, and some stuff, and some stuff, and some stuff. So yeah, I try to not be that way, but damn, this one just irked my gurk. I wanted more. Pick a time period instead of saying that the Predator has been part of Logan's history throughout his entire life. That probably would have been the best route to go. You want to pick back in the day when he was still young James, or when he was part of the Weapon X program, or modern time, but trying to do this generation thing, not my cup of tea. What do you guys think? If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and grab this series. If you've enjoyed this rant/review, really would appreciate if you taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you mind hitting that fancy little Yautja bell, next subscribe. That way when we continue upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you on hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or the socials, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.